Welcome back to Expert Connect, sponsored by Capgemini Government Solutions on federalnewsradio.com and 1500 AM. I'm your host, Jason Fornicola, and I'm joined now by Michelle Walker, a principal with Capgemini. Michelle, great to see you.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Michelle, Capgemini has a history of helping global public sector clients with their testing and quality assurance needs. Talk to me about what the company has seen from those clients in trying to move to continuous integration via Agile or DevOps.
Sure. So what we're really seeing in the market is that for the private sector and the commercial sector, their priorities and challenges are becoming very much the same. Their clients are looking for them to deliver more value for their dollar with less money and in less time, but with the same amount of quality or better quality. And so they're having to look for other means to do that than what they've done in the past. So this move from a waterfall methodology to Agile or DevOps is the transition they're using to be able to do that. And as they move through that, they have to actually go through a very big mindset change in order to be successful, because we're very used to developing projects with big timelines, big dollar amounts, delivering whole systems or a large amount of functionality. And when you transition to an Agile or DevOps environment, you have to move down to delivering products and services and delivering them in small pieces and to enable the quicker time to market. And so those are challenges that both sides of the house now are facing in order to be able to move their products faster to the market with less money.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about some examples maybe that you've seen or that the company has seen from its clients trying to make this move?
Sure. So if you look at it in the commercial market and you take companies that are in media and entertainment or financial services or telecommunications, their livelihood depends on how fast they can get their products to the market. So if you take one of our clients, which is a large telecommunications client, they're known as an innovator in the market, and they do 12 large releases every year, but simultaneously they're doing continuous releases for the time to market critical products that they have to put out. So we worked with them through our automation framework Cafe in order to help them develop automation throughout their life cycle to enable the continuous integration. But the other thing that becomes very important is to be able to think out of the box when it comes to automation. And they've done that with us in the fact that we're now using automation to manage their testing environments. And the benefit that brings is they have automation scripts that run multiple times a day, checking their testing environments to make sure connectivity is there, to make sure that code has not been introduced that's broken something, to enable the environments to always be ready, to be able to push the execution for testing at a higher volume through those environments because they're not suffering issues and problems in those environments. So that's some of the things that we see going on in the environment, as well as new techniques, or not necessarily new, but different techniques than we're used to using around test-driven development or business-driven development that enables the Agile and DevOps framework to really work.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something that's interesting and said helping them always be ready, right? How important is that for a company or an organization to be in that state, always be ready?
So it's very important. Time to market, in most cases, for everyone now. It's just not telecommunications or some of the other I mentioned, but it's everyone. You have to be first to the market with what you're delivering. And so every piece of your life cycle in the IT world has to work. You don't have time to have your environments down for due days because something got introduced that no one knew about. And so, being ready, whether it's through your people or through your environments, becomes very essential to success.
So how then can Capgemini help the federal government? How does all this apply to the federal government in helping them move from a waterfall to continuous integration?
Well, I think there's 2 or 3 different elements we do. I have the World Quality Report. This is something we do that I think is very important to the federal government as well, to our other clients as well. So we team with HP on this. We go out into the market and we talk to over 1,500 testing folks. From C-level folks down about what they're doing in testing, where they're spending their money, what their challenges are, and what they're doing. And we do it in every sector. But we also do it globally. We talk to folks in Europe and Asia Pac, and then we bring those findings together and we put them in the World Quality Report. So we work very hard from a Capgemini perspective to be an innovative, independent thinker when it comes to testing, and this is one of the ways we keep our pulse of what's going on in the market. And then the second thing that is very important is we take the learnings from all our clients. We do lessons learned. We look at what innovations have been built. and what we've done in other places, the challenges they're facing, and we see how we can apply those across our other customer base to help them, and so you're not always reinventing the wheel. And then along with that comes with our people. I mean, we have thousands of people and hundreds of companies across, multiple countries around the world doing this work. And so we can see and hear what's going on, and we get to see on some of the cutting edge things what's happening, and we can bring those to the market for our other clients as well.
You do have such a large reach, such a global reach, if you will, in terms of being able to tap, lessons learned from public sector clients to private sector clients. Talk to me a little bit more about how you can use one lesson from one and apply it to something else.
So, Agile, especially if you want to talk about just recently, Agile's become very important in the markets I talked about, telecommunications, financial services. And we've taken those learnings and we've been able to apply. Even a very recent incident was a contract we won in the federal government, and it was all about Agile and DevOps. So we took the things we've learned from those and been able to apply it from that perspective around automation, how we do continuous development and deployment. And so we take those and learn and translate them to other areas in the market.
It sounds like in some of these progresses that have been made on technology and new advances that taking that first step might be one of the biggest challenges. Can you talk about just getting going and how important that is?
Sure. So that's one of the simple, really, but a very large issue that we have, and it's really very funny because when I go out to clients, I could go out to 10 clients and ask them to define Agile, and I'd get 10 different answers. So people are having a real problem like defining it in a succinct manner. So I kind of equate it to if you take my own self, I've been driving for over 20 years, and I think I'm a good driver. But when I go to the UK. The fact that I'm a good driver and driven for 20 years is not applicable, because when I have to sit on the wrong side of the car and I have to drive on the wrong side of the street, it becomes a mind-changing event. And it's the same way when you go from having done waterfall for years to Agile. It's not about what I have to do with my hands or the testing that I have to do, but it's how do I change my mind to accept a totally different way of doing the same thing I've always done. And so we have a methodology that's really the de facto methodology in the industry called TMAP. And we've used it in the waterfall world. Well, now we've developed it and adapted it for Agile. And so we can step in and help those organizations take those first steps by laying the foundation with a methodology that's proven across the industry.
Yeah, it sounds really like what you're talking about is losing that ability to anticipate, and you lose the benefit of repetition of having done something over and over again.
That's right. In the safety of a lot of documentation and processes, and now it's more of a code a little, test a little kind of atmosphere, and you have to be able to go with the flow and move through it in a more flexible, real-time kind of atmosphere.
Michelle, where can the audience go if they'd like to learn more?
They can go to our website at capgemini-gs.com, and also, to the World Quality Report at worldqualityreport.com as well.
I'd like to thank my guest today, Michelle Walker, a principal with Capgemini Government Solutions, on Expert Connect, sponsored by Capgemini. I'm your host, Jason Fornicola, and you're listening to federalnewsradio.com and 1500 AM.